in American society, and by the way, the Koch brothers have spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to win support for this idea. What they say is, look, this is the way life is. Life is not fair. And essentially, government should play no role in your life. We're talking about healthcare now, but what's this infrastructure program coming from Trump? It's basically to privatize our infrastructure. What is the educational program that he devotes? Privatize public education.
Doesn't believe in public education.
We don't believe in public education. We don't believe in public health. We don't believe in public education. You name it. Maybe military, I guess they still believe it. But that is the underlying philosophy. So the answer to your question is, well, we're sorry. It's not a good thing, but that's not what government is supposed to do. And ultimately, we want to privatize, in my view, what they want to do. Social Security, Medicare. That's what they're talking about. That is the underlying philosophy. So I think the answer is, well, we're sorry that you're old and you're sick and you have no health insurance. But ideologically and philosophically, that's not what government is supposed to do. So you die, we're sorry about it.
So, the part, though, that really makes this hard is they said we're going to cut all these folks out of Medicaid. We're going to drive up costs for people on their private health insurance.
What else are they going to do?
Oh, but why? Why? So they can do tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires. In fact, calling this thing a healthcare bill,
you're right.
This thing should just be called for what it is. It is a tax cut for billionaires bill, and it's paid for off the backs of people who need Medicaid, people who have health insurance. It's paid for out of everyone else's sides.
This is a massive transfer of wealth from working class to the top 1 or 2%. Now, in the healthcare bill, I think it was $230 some odd billion in tax breaks, plus tax breaks for the drug companies and the insurance companies and other people in the industry. I think altogether, if you could imagine this, folks, we're talking about throwing 23 million people off with health insurance and then $500-600 billion over a 10-year period in tax breaks for the rich and large corporations.
Those at the very top.
And then let me divert a bit and get to Trump's budget. Remember the budget?
I remember the budget.
Same ideology is massive cuts to education, to infrastructure, to healthcare, to nutrition. Oh, by the way, just so happens after a 10-year period, $3 trillion in tax breaks for the top 1%. So Elizabeth is absolutely right. We should not be talking about how do you talk about a health care bill when you're throwing 23 million people off of health insurance?
That's right.
It's not
That's
a health care
bill. And when we talk about how this touches everyone, a big part of this too are even people who have health insurance. You think you're protected, you got health insurance, you're fine, you got health insurance. Not by the time the Republicans get through with it, at least in the version they've done in the House. What they're saying in the House is two parts to it. You know what? Insurance companies can make much better profits if they can discriminate against people who are over 50, right? Raise the costs for all those folks who are over 50. Okay, that's one way. Oh, and while they're at it, how about if insurance companies could discriminate against people who have pre-existing conditions? Cut out anyone who's had cancer in the past, who's had a scare, who has diabetes, who has had a bad diagnosis. Just cut those people out, because then the insurance companies, boy, they can pick and choose and do really well. Cut out people who've had mental health issues. Cut out people who've had addiction issues.
Women become a pre-existing. Women's health becomes pre-existing as well.
Only in a world where 13 men sit locked behind doors in the United States Senate negotiating health care for everyone else. It is not funny.
I mean, it is so absurd. It is so literally insane. You have a hard time understanding what world these guys are living in. But in terms of what it would mean for older workers, according to the AARP, a 64-year-old with an income of $26,000 a year would see his or her premiums increase from $1,700 today to up to $16,000.
So think about that, Bernie. Look at that huge difference. It's more than half their annual income, right? In the increase in the cost for health insurance. And why? To produce a tax break for a handful of millionaires and billionaires.
That's what it's about. Okay. Now, let's detour just a bit. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Germany, I went to Ireland, and I was in the UK. Surprise, surprise, they're not throwing tens of millions of people off of health insurance. Those countries, Canada, every major country on earth, guarantees health care to to all people as a right, not a privilege. So here we are with 28 million people today, still, despite the successes of Obamacare, 28 million people no health insurance. These guys want to throw 23 million people more off of health insurance. You know, all over the world. You know what, people? We get people writing in, and I'm sure the same with you on Facebook. They don't understand what goes on.
Yeah.
How does it happen that you are the only country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people, and now you're throwing more people off?
The richest nation on earth. And that we can't accord basic health care to each of our people. You know, but that's the reminder. We talk about the numbers. We talk about how many billions of dollars are involved here. But it's the fundamental reminder. This is about our values. This is about what kind of a people we are. This is about what kind of a country we want to build. And the Koch brothers say, hey, we are a people who say, if you're born rich, this is a great nation, right? If you've already made it to the top, then the whole point of government is to work better and better for those at the top. You know, that's not who we are as Americans. Who we are as Americans is we say, look, we get it. We are all in this boat together. We're all going to work hard. We're all going to hope that we are blessed with good health. But at the end of the day, when something bad happens in one of our families, we're all there to pitch in a little.